Check 1 2, check 1 2. Can y'all hear me in the building, family? I think I got it fixed. The devil is a lie. He's alive. He's alive. He's alive. He's alive. Hey, family, we got a beautiful show for you tonight. Family, you got to make sure you share this. This has never been done before. We got two of the most electrified. We got two of the most electrified. Hold up. Check 1 2. How do I sound? We got two of the most electrified, inquisitive. Hold up 1 second. Hold up. Let me do my intro right. Woo! I feel like Ric Flair in this demonstration. Hold up, fam. Y'all don't know what we're about to do tonight. Hold up. I'm too excited. Hold up. Y'all don't know what we're about to do tonight, family. Y'all don't know what we're about to do tonight. Tonight, on this very stage, we got the most electrified, the most inquisitive, the most desired seekers of truth on the internet right here. Oh, yeah, family. We got the most desired seekers of truth on the internet. Yeah, we got Brother Khan in the building. Not like this. He drop and go. But tonight, listen, but tonight, family, I'm going to convince this brother to drop bombs after tonight forward. We need him. Family, if you are a student of information, if you are a student of trying to crack the code of past history as it relates to any subject matter, then this is your station. This is your platform. The subject matter tonight is Master Farad Muhammad. And if you was here last night, the brother told me that he was going to come on tonight. Brother Khalil Shakur, the young brother. And I had all my stuff set up and ready. And we was going to bring a moderator in and we was going to break it down. Khalil Shakur, I'm disappointed in you, young brother. I'm disappointed in you, Khalil. Yeah, Khalil Shakur was on the show last night. And on the show last night, he was the young brother. He was pulling out some slides. And he thought he was making some headway. He got a little bit emotional. It got a little bit tight up in this demonstration last night. But I was waiting for him, family. And I wanted to just lay out my premise. But he didn't respond last night. I wanted to get the framework going, and he didn't respond. So I was just going to lay it out today. And then one of the premier researchers and scholars that I respect highly hit me up and said, I'll come on. Now, y'all don't know how big this is. This brother do not make appearances on this type of forum. He produces his information from research and he let the public have it. That's what he does. Whether it's video, whether it's books, whether it's pamphlet, whatever, he produces and let the public have it. This is one rare time that he's about to cook live. And we are going to discover who Master Farad Muhammad is. So in the words of my brother, Cryptonomics, bring in the horn. Bring in the horn. I'ma be that more you gon' remember. I'll be that more you gon' remember. Taharka Bey front line till the law call my number. I'll be that more you gon' remember. I'ma be that more you gon' remember, that's right. I'll be that more you gon' remember. Taharka Bey front line till the law call my number. You a friend of the Moors, then you a friend of mine. I was told to watch my enemies, now hold my line. Those that speak against the prophet, they speak against me. And I'm speaking about the prophet over Drew Ali, who was the first to remind you and bind you back to Morocco, the mountains, Mississippi, and Quebec. Told you you wasn't black, proved it was straight facts. You tripping off trucks, you need to be tripping off that. Now here we go again, acting like you a slave. The same people taught European how to bathe. And looking at women buying European hair. No love for self, but do the men really care? Hell no, cause they got a love for Europe. Whole generation chasing pills, weed and syrup. Yeah, they love Lil Yachty, Tucci, Gucci, Kodak, Amigos, Ross, Lucid. But when the love for the woman look like your mother, I guess they say it's all black when it's under the cover. Now cipher, I'll be that more you gon' remember. I'ma be that more you gon' remember, that's right. I'll be that more you gon' remember. Taharka Bey front line till the law call my number. I'll be that more you gon' remember. I'ma be that more you gon' remember, that's right. I'll be that more you gon' remember. Taharka Bey front line till the law call my number. All you super scholars holler, this era for the workers. You ain't building on the ground, then you worse than a twerker. You look and sound good, but that's only on the surface. Probably working for the people. Now tell me what's your purpose. Ain't worried about your homie, but know that I know every mo that rock a fast. He ain't my bro. Yeah, you know I ain't slow. I seen it all before. How they try to kill the prophet, it was all for show. And some got it right now. Don't say that I'm not down. I'm coming for my vast estate. I want my town, my sheriff, my stores, my school, my nation. Sick and tired of the procrastination and debate. Y'all keep hating when love is the savior. You don't love yourself, so you can't love your neighbor. That's why you killing, fighting, murray out of your race. If you ain't for Moorish world, then get out of my face. Cause Chinese love China, Italians love Italy. You should love the Moorish world. Come on and build it with me. Let's go. I'll be that more you gon' remember. I'ma be that more you gon' remember, that's right. I'll be that more you gon' remember. I'ma be that more you gon' remember, oh yeah. I'll be that more you gon' remember. Taharka Bey front line till the law call my number. I'll be that more you gon' remember, be more. I'll be that more you gon' remember, that town. I'll be that more you gon' remember. Taharka Bey front line till the law call my number. I'll be that more you gon' remember, LA. I'll be that more you gon' remember, New York. I'll be that more you gon' remember. Taharka Bey front line till the law call my number. Yeah. Welcome to another edition of Moorish World TV. I'm your host, Brother Taharka Bey. My mama said I ain't got no rhythm. I tell my mama, I don't mind as long as you love me. Happy birthday to my mama. That's right. That's right. My mother's birthday was the day, so I was chilling. I didn't get to put all my slides together because I was chilling with my mama. Mama. Hold on. Give me a second. Give me a second, Brother Khan. Mama, you know I love you. You know I love you, mama. Mama, you're the queen of my heart. Happy birthday, mama. So with that being said, family, last night, as I was saying last night, family, we had a couple people on here last night that was battling for Master Fard Muhammad's identity not being the identity who we come to see who he is. So at the end of the day, I want to pretty much try to share something with you real quick. Let me go right here. So family, right here are the images of Master Fard Muhammad. And last night, the young brother said that the 1932 image is the only image of Master Fard Muhammad that is legitimate. Now, this image right here, which we'll get into in a minute, he said this is also legitimate. But he says that the reason why the only one that's legitimate in the 1932 is the 1932 because the other images have a mole and the other images is just not the 1932 because the 1932 don't have a mole. And so I pointed out to him that this image don't look anything like the image that you agree on right there. So we're going to go with that, and we're going to bring my brother Khan in the building. Brother Khan, are you there?
Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Wa alaikum salam, brother. Now, brother, now I do know, but for the people who don't know.
Hold on a minute. That track was yours? That was you?
That's me, brother. Absolutely.
Oh, man. That's on streaming services, bro?
say, yeah, it's all, yeah, I'll send you the link.
Whew, okay, man.
Absolutely. So, brother Khan, me and you have been communicating, and I've actually been studying your work for years since you was putting it out. Where are you at as it relates to the identity of Farad Muhammad? What is your position?
Well, in what way?
So let me put these up. So in the Nation of Islam, they have a concept that none of these are Master Farad Muhammad. That none of these are Master Farad Muhammad, and the only Master Farad Muhammad is the one on the right of this picture. But these are some FBI mock-up. Now, bar the 1932, because nobody ever mentioned anything about the 1932 photo, but they always start at the 1933 mugshot and say that it was put out there by the FBI, and the rest of them 1926 from the arrest 1926, as well as the San Quentin photo is not him. What is your position on the images?
Well, like you said, certain people deny those photos and certain people deny some of them. So you have a divide in the sects right now, which is the newspaper photo. Do you accept that, or do you accept none of it at all? So there's a lot of people that do accept the two newspaper photos. So a background on that is the first one, the Detroit Free Press. That one has been talked about and it's been around for ever since it's been out. So people since the 30s have been talking about the first photo that you see there on the left,
right,
with the book. Everyone's been talking about that since the 30s in 1932. So, okay. So we got sources for that. We can talk about that. But there's a new photo that's been discovered about 5 years ago by my friend Bilal Muhammad. He's a great scholar. He has a new book out with Dr. John Andrew Morrow, the best scholar in W.D. Farad research. It's called The Man, the Myth, the Mystery. Got to go check that out if you're interested in the historical Master Farad. So the second photo, it shows him with Yugan Ali, an early follower. So are these photos authentic? We all know they're authentic. Of course they are. Why are they authentic? We have Messenger Elijah Muhammad's brother, Supreme Minister John Muhammad, peace be upon both of them. He's referenced the photo many times. There's also a source from 1938 of a researcher, a European, Benyan, something, Edie Benyan, French. I think he's a French researcher, but he had interviewed a bunch of people. One of them referenced the newspaper as well, where he said that he was the supreme being. So that actually lends credibility to Elijah Muhammad. So my position is all of this history, it actually lends credibility to Elijah Muhammad in most cases, regarding how Master Farad taught who he was, because these newspaper articles, he said he was the supreme being, and it's referenced by everyone. So everyone knows who this is, and it must have been a shocker when it was denied, but it had to be denied for many reasons. So we can continue from there. I don't want to keep rambling.
So what you're saying is Elijah Muhammad, brother, which I would like to add that to to put that on the forefront for those who are not aware of it. This is the recording of Elijah Muhammad brother, verifying the 1932
whole country. Now, before, he told the whole country that he was the supreme being. It came out in the Detroit Free Press when he was in jail. And the devil asked him, where is your authorities? And he opened the Holy Quran and showed it to him and told him that I am the supreme being.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, let me stop right there for a minute. Now, we've heard last night, and I just seen it in the chat also, that that Master Farad Muhammad had a brother. So now this is a new argument for me.
Share my screen, brother, because the people asking for some type of visuals, you know, I know they want to see me. They want to. They're so desperate to see me, brother. But I'm gonna show on my screen. I'm so sorry. Here we go. Go ahead, bro.
What I wanted to say is that so one of the arguments is, this is a very new argument for me. Let me explain that I've been around since 1990. I've argued, fought, really went to war with brothers, arguing and debating about more science, Master Farad Muhammad, Noble Drew Ali, and things like that back in the day when I was younger. But I've never heard the argument that he had a brother.
Right.
Is that a new argument, or what do you think?
Well, as far as the false argument that there could be a brother, that's pretty much been theory. Regarding credible theories, we can get into that. But as far as actually a brother, there could be a brother. I don't think anyone knows about it yet. They would have to get W.D. Farad, the first footprints in America, by Anton Beatty and Kevin Morris, and they could talk about it more. So a person like Anton Beatty, as much as he gets hate, he could tell you about the life of W.D. Farad before 1930 way better than me. And yeah.
So is it a possibility that any of those pictures is Farad Muhammad brother? Any of those?
No. Well, that's just impossible, because we have a whole paper trail with everything. I mean, it's completely identical. All the pictures. I mean, I don't know what more you want,
Right.
And the names are the same too. W.D. Ford, Wallace Farad. I can share, but if you can prompt me on some more stuff.
Yeah. So here is the picture. Here's the picture with Detroit Free Press, where he's holding a book, and he is referencing of his authority.
Absolutely.
Now, when you look at W.D. Ford, one of the arguments is that he was of European descent, but when you look at the written record from the beginning of him hitting the public, 1 minute he's from Afghanistan, 1 minute Spanish, another minute all over the globe. Where do you conclude he comes from?
Well, we now know he comes from Afghanistan based on the work of Kevin Morris and Anton Beatty. Like I said, you can get their book. He comes from Afghanistan. There's the record. Wali Dad Khan was the name he checked in as, and he checked in as a Mohammedan. So we have the record. He's from the East, and he's from the Near East, and anyone who knows his teachings knows that that's where it comes from. So that's a whole nother thing. We can talk about the work of Paul Guthrie, of course. And since yes, sir. And since he's been out, since he first produced work, which was a long time ago, there's been a lot more work since then that's came out, including the different lectures of Supreme Minister John Muhammad that revealed that his mother, named Baby G, is from Kashmir, the Kashmir mountain. So it's a lot of different things
Have
that
you
we're
ever
discovering now.
have you ever seen the receipt where Baby G was actually in this country and he actually named
Yes,
her as his mother?
yes. That's the World War One registration when W.D. Farad registered for World War One. He named his mother as Baby G.
Right. So I think
I
I
can
do.
go there. Let
Yeah,
me see
you have that.
if I can pull this up. Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the things that people say is that that it's not the same person. This is one of the things that I was going to bring up tonight, but since you bringing it up, man, we're going to do like the Hebrew Israelites. Read. I'm gonna just tell you what to pull up. So one of the things is that Elijah Muhammad tells a story about his mother being known as Baby G, right? Ain't that what? How do Elijah Muhammad say? He doesn't say it Baby G, I don't think, but it's something close and similar to it.
No, he's never said the name of the mother. That's never been said by him.
No,
That's
yes.
only been
Yes, I can pull it up. He said the father is Alfonso, and
no,
he
you can't
mentioned
pull that up.
Baby G.
No, you can't pull that up.
Oh, of course. Hold on.
Go ahead.
Hold on. Let me pull it up.
No. We can talk about Supreme Minister John Muhammad clearing that up. That's been a rumor that the father name was Alfonso since the 40s.
No. I don't think the father name is Alfonso.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the story that was said by Elijah Muhammad. I first heard Baby G from Elijah Muhammad. I first heard Alfonso from Elijah Muhammad. Absolutely. I'll pull it up in a second.
I gotta hear it because I've never heard it. I've always asked about it.
Yeah, so while you're going over that, tell us what you got right there.
Yeah, I was trying to find the Baby G. Here it is.
You guys had it.
It's I was mistaken. I'm sorry. See, this is why we gotta get some more experts on here. But it's actually the marriage certificate with Carmen Favino, and that's where he says his mother's name is Baby G right here.
Yeah, right there.
Name of the mother, Baby G.
Right.
Name of father is Zaradad Ford. You can look at my video, W.D. Farad's home country, Baby G from Kashmir, to explain some more of that. So he's from the East. He's a South Asian person, and that's just a fact.
So at the end of the day, I can show you right here. At the end of the day, so how do you or anyone justify that he is not from Arabia? I mean Mecca. All right, here we go. Here's an article right here. You know, because the idea is that he came from Mecca. You follow what I'm saying?
Yes.
And if he didn't come from Mecca and he's from Afghanistan, that's a kind of blow to the conversation, if you will.
How so?
Because Mecca and Afghanistan is two different places.
Why is that a blow to the conversation?
Because, all right, so the conversation is Master Farad Muhammad came from Mecca to help his uncle, right?
Right.
And he came from Mecca. He was born in Saudi Arabia, Mecca. Mm-hmm. And the blow to the conversation is now the story is not adding up, because if you're saying he was born in Afghanistan, then it crushes the whole theory, or it crushes the story line that he was born in Mecca or that he came from Mecca. You understand what I'm saying? Because I'm very specific in everything. Like I'll show you this. I just pulled this up real quick, right? Are you able to see this on my screen?
Yes.
Okay. We are taught by the most honorable Elijah Muhammad that the genealogy of both parents combined produce a special characteristic in preparation for this coming and finding of this father's lost people in America. His father's name is Alfonso, and he is a black man from the original nation. His mother was chosen from among the Caucasian white race living in the Caucasus Mountains of Russia. Her name is Baby G, or BBG, and perhaps spelled Baba G, which is pronounced as Baby G. Now, I learned this over 20 years ago.
Okay, hold on. What is this? This is Tynetta?
Let me see who's saying
this. Is not Elijah Muhammad saying this.
No. I
don't know where you got this.
No. Listen what I'm saying. I have the original story comes from Elijah Muhammad, him saying it himself. He actually narrates the story himself, is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? And then you have,
I don't know. I'm not sure what you're referring to. You gotta show me that.
Yeah, that's what what I'm doing right now is that I'm just pulling you up a reference. Anybody that's in the Nation of Islam, they've heard Elijah Muhammad tell that story before. They've heard. I mean,
I'm willing to listen to that. Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on. I can find the direct source. I wasn't expected to give you the direct source, but it is a direct source. That I can give it to you later. There's a direct source where Elijah Muhammad actually narrates that. He actually narrates that.
Okay.
Yeah. There's and I'm not saying that somebody said he said it. He actually says it, and he actually. And so when I see, so in my research, Bilal say, "Do you guys want me to come on?" Sure, Bilal. Sure, is that Bilal?
That's Bilal. That's the goat right there. That's the goat.
Yeah, bring him on, brother. So
yeah, bring on Bilal, bro.
So look, let me send him the link. So what I'm saying is that is a literal. Never heard the message name. Drop the parents' names. A lot of people say they didn't hear that. I'm going to bring it up. The source.
Yeah, I do know for sure that Supreme Minister John Muhammad did say that Master Farad taught that his mother's name was Baby G. So that's a fact. And he heard that. I got you, Bilal. He learned that the Alfonso was a rumor since the 40s. Yeah. So people were saying that in the 40s.
So the Alfonso thing comes from. Let me see if I can find it real quick. The Alfonso thing comes from a certificate where he says that he was a Alfonso the Third. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
Right. Yeah. No, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? When he said that he was under the.
I'm trying to send this.
He says he was under the Oh my goodness, my brain locking on me. He said he was under Spain and the king of Alfonso.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But it's not his. Of course, we know it's not his father. But this was narrated, and I want to find out where I want to get you the direct source why he's coming on. Also, the direct source that Alfonso. Let me bring. There you go, right there. All right, now that I got you on, brother, you can go ahead. Oh, I just seen you just pass Alfonso too.
Yep.
You just
got it right here.
Yep. And Elijah Muhammad named the same exact thing. And so the point that I'm making is that when I seen the research with the Baby G in California, and then I seen the research when I know what it is, when he was coming into the country. And it says he was, I think, a subject of Spain under Alfonso. You ever see that document?
I don't know about I know what you're talking about, but not about coming in the country. But
I
know what you're talking about. No, I know what you're talking about. Bilal's got to get on here, man. But we can any other general points that you have that we can cover too while he's getting on.
I think he just came on. Hold on. This is a good conversation. Hold on 1 second.
Absolutely.
All right, we got Bilal in the
building. I don't know if I could hear you guys.
I can hear you. Are you there?
Peace.
Are you there?
Peace. I don't hear you.
Are you there?
Peace. I don't hear you.
Are you there?
Morris World TV, man. If you're not subscribed, I'm Man, I'm a like and share, man. Come on, man.
Hey, whoever, Egg Beats, why you spamming my chat, Egg Beats? Let's see if we can get him. Let me move this screen share. Can
You
you
got a
hear
lot
me?
of goofies in here, folk.
Hold up. He had to come out and come back in. He had to come back out and come back in. So, family, this is strictly research to try and get to the bottom of identification. Now, at the end of the day, man, hold up, man. I gotta block this guy. Oh my God, he just spamming up a storm.
You got a lot of spammers in here, man.
God dang, man, they don't want. They mad, man. They mad. They big mad.
No, they definitely mad, man.
All right, yeah. Somebody
5% glad, 10% mad, man.
All right. So now, let me get Bilal back in here. Are you in?
Yes.
All right, there you go. So you hear us, we're bouncing around. We're having a good conversation right now, and we're bouncing around. But you are said to be the researcher's researcher. So that's the word, bro. That's what it is. So
I don't know about that.
Yo, Taharka, can you share my screen so I'm not just showing my picture? Is there a way you can do that?
Right there.
Somebody said that my name is a
Appreciate
generic
it.
name. That just happens to be my name. Okay, I don't know if it's generic or not, but sorry.
Yeah. So whenever you need me to share your screen, let me know. Let me know. So where we at now? So we are at the part where let me share my screen real quick. Get back to this. We are at the part where people are denying that this is Master Farad Muhammad. Right now, where do you come in as it relates to the research of this WD4 and this Master Farad Muhammad? Where are you on the playing field of these images? And I'll let you take it from there.
So the most authentic image that we're going to have to use are going to be the images that are in the newspapers. So specifically the Detroit Free Press picture, which was printed in November 1932, as well as the Des Moines Tribune picture, which wasn't there, which was also printed in November 1932. Those are going to be you could say like the gold standard for what WD Farad is going to look like, because those were public pictures printed in public newspapers. And, these were not denied until, way into the 21st century. So as Brother Alam said, Supreme Minister John Mohammed, who was the treasurer of Master Farad Muhammad, the principal of the University of Islam under Master Farad Muhammad, he confirmed that was Master Farad Muhammad. And just in general, I mean, these were out in 1932. So it's not like anybody from the Nation of Islam in 32, 33, 34 came out and said, hey, that's not our leader in handcuffs. No, that was their leader. It was a public picture. And you don't get any denial until, after the 2010s.
And this is the same situation when Elijah Muhammad and about 200 followers paraded around the police department to try to get him released, right?
That's correct. And I just want to say this. So all of those photos, I believe, are authentic, and I'll explain why. So if the gold standard is the Detroit Free Press photo and the Des Moines Tribune photo, we can use Amazon recognition to determine with 99.5% certainty. It's the facial recognition software. It determined that the mugshots are identical to the person in the newspaper, okay, with 99.5% certainty. And that's with like a low resolution photo at different angles. The facial recognition software can still determine that it's the same person. As for that official photo, the official NOI photo, I don't blame my brothers from the Nation of Islam for using that photo, because that is the photo that Master Farad Muhammad gave his followers, that one right there. And there's variations of it. Like you could see the book is thinner on one, the book is thicker on the other, the hair is shiny on one. There are some variations of it, but that photo does go back to 1934. These are real photos. But what accounts for some of the differences between those and the ones in the newspaper is that it's been glamorized, it's been airbrushed.
That's what I wanted. I'm sorry to cut your wisdom. That's what I wanted to point out last night. I was saying last night that they were altered in some way.
And this is not abnormal for photos of that period, especially. I mean, these are religious photos, right? These are the photos that Master Fard Muhammad gave his followers. So if they've been glamorized, if he's wearing makeup, if he has some application on his hair, and that's not me saying that, by the way. That's Warith ad-Din, the son of Elijah Muhammad, who was born in 1933, who is named after him. He said that this was a cosmetic photo, that he had some kind of application to straighten his hair because his hair was normally wavy. Okay, so that accounts for some of the differences here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
If you could share my screen, brother.
But yeah, when it comes to like what is our North Star on our compass, it's going to be the newspaper photos. And then, you know, in extension, the mugshots. Now, of course, the only reason why these mugshots are denied is because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad denied them in the 1960s, right? In the Muhammad Speaks newspaper. And he said it was a phony. Now, to me, you know, if that was all we had, you know, I have no dog in this fight. I was never a member of the nation. I'm a Muslim. There's a lot of things I appreciate about the nation. But my point is that Elijah Muhammad was trying to defend, you can say, the reputation of the movement in a time, you know, this was around the time, you know, Malcolm X broke away and all of that. And yeah, I mean, it would have been a lot for the nation to handle that Master Fard had this checkered past in the 1920s. And I mean, some of the stuff is explainable. I think, like, if you are a believer in this person, you could explain away some of the behaviors of his past as, you know, divine, you know, that there's some kind of role that these played. But Elijah Muhammad took kind of the easy way out and saying, "Oh no, that's not him."
So that's the point that I was trying to make with Brother Khan, is that the way that the story is told, it doesn't match up to the written story that you can follow the paper trail. So for instance, you know, saying that he came from Mecca and from Mecca, Saudi Arabia, but the evidence says that he came from Afghanistan.
It wasn't Saudi Arabia.
I think there's a way to reconcile that, to be fair. And
Okay.
I'll say that. I'll say this. Many people from the part of the world that Master Fard Muhammad came from, okay, they call themselves Sayyids. So Brother Alam knows about it.
Teach it.
Yeah. So there are many people from modern day Pakistan and modern day Afghanistan who say that they originally come from Mecca.
Right.
And what they say is that they're descendants of the Prophet Muhammad. Now, if you go to Pakistan, it's almost like half the population, by the way, claims this. And so it is possible that he is, quote, from Mecca and a descendant of the Prophet, while also, I mean, he says that his mother was from the Kashmir Mountains. That's according to Supreme Minister John Muhammad, who, of course, studied under him for, 3 years, right? 3.5 years. So, I mean, but even by Nation of Islam official lore, right? So his father was a black man, his mother was a white woman. That's the official lore. Now, Mecca is not exactly an original black man city, so to speak. It's in the Arabian Peninsula, especially if Master Fard Muhammad is born in 1877, right? We're not talking 6,000 years ago. We're talking today. And if his mother was white, then she was white. So I think even in accordance to the official lore, it would be difficult to say that, there's this all black man named Alfonso with a Spanish name in Mecca, along with this, Caucasian woman, and that they produced this child, W.D. Farad. I mean, that is mythology, right?
Right. And that's one of the things that I try to stay away from. When someone says that, so the way that we speak here, we speak in definites. We don't, it's just what it is. It's a part of our culture. When we speak in definites of what we know. That doesn't mean that the definite is true, but we speak in definite. So when you hear Elijah Muhammad says that he come from Mecca, and he is of the Quraysh tribe, like, we're not looking at, okay, he's from Afghanistan as relation to Mecca. We're looking like, okay, Muhammad is of the Quraysh tribe, and he's of the Quraysh. We're zeroing in where the Kaaba is at. because in our community, that's how we speak. We speak with definiteness. So
right, but we can go to the different names that WD Farad was giving people, and we can trace it back to that area.
Absolutely.
This goes back to tribe of Shabazz, right?
Even the Shabazz goes to what, Pakistan or somewhere.
Even Khan, right?
Right. Absolutely.
So, one thing I'll say is that also the thing about Mecca was a very small place when Master Farad Muhammad was born. I'm talking maybe 50,000 people in the whole city.
Right.
So to say that you were a Muslim from Mecca was a lot like saying you're a Catholic from the Vatican. There's a kind of a cliche to it. There's also a kind of official, that, oh, well, I'm coming from Mecca, so I'm coming with authority, right? Especially if he's coming as he's a son of a diplomat or he's some royalty, which he was claiming. But I do interpret this as he was a Sayyid. He was from Central or South Asia. And he probably believed, as many people in that region do, that he originally descended from Prophet Muhammad and from the Quraysh in Mecca.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a way to reconcile it, right? There's always, I can't prove that, right? But what I could say is I do have a chapter in this book. This is W.D. Farad, The Man, Myth, and Mystery Behind the Nation of Islam. You can find it on Amazon. There's a chapter in this book where what we do, there's a field called forensic linguistics. Sorry, you just saw all my coins. There's a field called forensic linguistics where you can determine now with AI what someone's first language was based on their writing, right? Based on the mistakes they were making in their writing, based on the grammar in the writing, based on the expressions and the idioms they were using, you can determine what their first language was. Right. And the results, and you can do this yourself, our methods are there. The results came out as his first language was Urdu. Okay, which kind of goes back to what everybody's been saying, from Paul Guthrie to even Warith ad-Din to others, that he originally came from what is now British India or that part of Afghanistan.
If I'm not mistaken, Paul pointed out that on the original membership card that the language of Urdu was used in a writing and it wasn't Arabic.
Yeah, I mean, now there is one specific letter. I've spoken to Brother Paul about this, and yes, there is one letter called the Bariye, which does resemble an Urdu. The Bariye is an Urdu letter. So Urdu uses an Arabic script. So sometimes it's a little bit hard to tell which one is Urdu, which one's Arabic. It looks like Urdu to me. I am an Arabic speaker. I'm not an expert in Urdu. So it's something that's not deductive for me, but I think that card does look like Urdu to me.
Right. So yeah, I don't know if it was totally Paul, but I think right there at the top on the left hand corner. Yeah.
Yeah, Ani Louis Yassine. I could read it. It's from right to left. And specifically that, I guess it's hard to explain it, but like on the very right, you can see a letter that looks like a C.
Right.
It's connected to, it's on the very right of the writing. That's what we call a bariye, and that's an Urdu letter. It's not typical for Arabs to draw their ya like that. It's not impossible. Because it is handwriting after all, and everyone's handwriting is a little different, but it looks like an Urdu letter, and this looks like Urdu script to me.
Okay, so when he comes to when Master Farad Muhammad comes to this country, is it true that the first place that he hits is Oregon, Portland, Oregon?
He lands in San Francisco.
Okay,
this is in 1907. He was on the SS Coptic, and then from California he goes straight to Oregon. Yes.
Okay. Now in Oregon, because so when we talk about Master Farad Muhammad, remember that we're saying that this is a law in the person. That's our people, my brothers in the Nation of Islam. That's how they see it, as a law in the person. So we're saying that he goes to Portland, Oregon, and then after that he goes to by the way, of San Francisco, but he goes to California.
I have actually a timeline I'd like to show.
Yeah, sure.
I've actually done
you got to share that.
Yeah, I've done I'll send it to you, Alam, and then you could share it and you can go through it.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Email or Instagram if you want.
Yeah, send it to my email.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
Go ahead.
This document, I've been working on it for the last few months. It's going to appear in an upcoming book. What I've done is I've taken every single location that we know, and between 1906 to 1934, potentially 35, Master Farad Muhammad addresses, cities, and where he was. And I mean, one thing about Master Farad that inspires me personally is that this guy was a really avid traveler, even for those days. Okay, this isn't a time when
he got around. He definitely got around.
He got around, and I mean, like, he was in New York one day, Detroit the next, and San Francisco the next, and he was in Oregon this time, and he was in Montana this other time, and he was everywhere. He was everywhere, and he was doing it. He was driving the car himself most of the time.
So the question is, okay, so he goes to California,
By the way,
and they say that he's a tamale dealer or something like that, and
that's right.
And he gets caught up in this I guess you would say this hustle catches him up in selling drugs or something like that. And well, him and his partner, basically.
He was okay. So he was accused of selling drugs to an undercover cop.
Right.
Now, and that's what he was arrested for, and that's what he was charged for.
This is big right now. This is big. Hold on, I gotta stop this. Everyone needs to tune in and listen to this right now because this is the crux. It's a #1 thing. Oh my goodness.
Now a lot of people
WD Farad got locked up for selling heroin. How could it be? Teach on it, brother Bilal.
Well, it's possible that he was falsely accused, as we learn in the Anton Beatty book, Farad's First Footsteps in America. I have it somewhere in this room. Oh, here it is.
I got it.
As we learn in this book, the cop that arrested Master Farad Muhammad was actually running a protection racket. And he was arrested for running a protection racket. And this guy would later, I think, ask out a girl and then kill. I think she said no, and then he killed her and killed himself. So this police officer wasn't exactly, you can say, an upstanding citizen and the most reliable source. And Farad did get out of jail a little bit early. I mean, he was considered a good inmate. So was Farad guilty? I don't know. I wasn't there. But if this police officer was running a protection racket, then that throws a wrench in that charge.
Let me ask you a question before we go any further.
What I want to make here is that if you're a believer in Master Farad Muhammad, because a lot of people deny the whole Wallace Ford thing because, well, our God is not a drug dealer. Let's put that aside for a moment. It's possible he was falsely accused, but the other possibility is that people get reformed. I mean, because people come to me and they say, well, how can this teaching come out of this man?
But the whole thing about it is that the denial is like I don't like to put hypothesis before the actual fact. The actual fact is that it was denied. The actual fact is that we're talking about Allah and the person. The actual fact is that he sold, for the lack of a better term, he sold to the population that he's Allah in the person, Master Farad Muhammad.
He didn't use that language exactly, but yeah, go ahead.
Huh? Who?
So Allah in person is that specific, that parlance, that is Elijah Muhammad's language.
Yeah, I say Elijah Muhammad used that. I said he sold. Okay. So we're talking about from one who is. Remember, if you watched the show last night, the brother Kevin Ali was on the show. He said Elijah Muhammad said it, and if you don't believe it, so what I'm saying, if Elijah Muhammad said it, people are going to say that this is the actual fact and this is what it is. And for Elijah Muhammad to say that, and now later on in the future, as of today, we find like, hold up, everything that Elijah Muhammad said about Master Farad Muhammad is just not lining up. From the picture, from the this conversation, it's just not lining up. How do you reconcile that?
Yeah. Now, Master Farad Muhammad, in terms of this whole thing, because people will say, how can this kind of teaching, that's this reformative teaching, come out of somebody that's been to prison? I mean, Malcolm X was in prison. A lot of Warith ad-Din was in prison. Elijah Muhammad himself, falsely accused. I mean, he went over the whole draft dodging charge. But my point is that people reform all the time, and we all know people that have gone to prison and are different people today.
I don't think that's a part of the main crux of the conversation, because we do know that, Jesus went to prison, John went to prison, Muhammad had to be exiled in Ethiopia.
Farad went to prison in the 30s with the whole voodoo murder.
Yeah. So I mean, I think but the thing is that the way that the story is being told to the populace, I think that's more of the issue, not the issue that he went to prison in San Quentin. I don't even think that is the big issue is the denial.
But why do you think they're denying? That's what I'm saying. I think they're denying it because they're seeing a man with a checkered past that they don't understand. They frankly don't understand Master Farad Muhammad, right? They don't understand. They're very near correct.
But even this, it says Master Farad Muhammad. It is said that he went to college in California, the University of California. Has that been verified?
In a way,
yes.
Because so Michael Muhammad Knight's book, The Supreme Wisdom Lessons, he finds that that there were actually University of California correspondence courses that were being offered in San Quentin prison.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I mean. So a lot of the time when Master Farad Muhammad says something, you do have to look at it from multiple angles. And
back then, many people was taking correspondence courses back then.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. But again, so to hear Elijah Muhammad says that he went to the University of California because he was told by Master Farad Muhammad that he went to the University of California, but then to say that story of him in California is not him, I think that's where the problem lies. The problem is not the story per se. The problem lies in the contradictions as told by, unfortunately, Elijah Muhammad.
I completely agree with you. I guess my only question is, why do you think they contradict themselves? Because they clearly, I think that they're contradicting themselves because they don't want him to be Wallace Ford.
So yes. Basically, it's the intention is to have him mystified and deified.
Well, because when you limit him to 1930 to 1934, you have control over that narrative. Right. That narrative comes out of basically the Nation of Islam. As by the end of 1932, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was running the Nation of Islam effectively in Detroit.
Right. Absolutely.
And that was when Master Farad Muhammad was even still around, but he was receding in the background in 1933 and then 1934, and then he disappears. So when you limit Master Farad Muhammad to his activities in the 1930s, you're giving Elijah Muhammad a monopoly, basically, on the narrative, on who this person is and how they fulfill scripture and how they fulfill prophecy and who they are to us today. But the problem is in the digital age today, we have a paper trail. We have newspapers that have been digitized. We have marriage licenses. We have ship manifests. We have prison documents.
Exactly.
We have all these things, photographs, letters, and we're building a profile of a person that was active from 1906 in our record to 1930, before he even stepped foot in Detroit on July 4th, 1930, according to the lore. So that losing control of that narrative, that gatekeeping, basically, is the problem.
What do you think about, some of the lessons about the distance of the sun, the circumference of the earth, and all of that? All of these things was already fully known, but it is said that he taught the distance. Like I remember being in debates with people, my brothers from the Nation of Islam, and they said, well, he said the distance of the earth, he said the circumference and the distance of the sun. But many years prior to Master Farad Muhammad, these things have always was already calculated.
Yeah. So in this book, I discovered that there was actually specifically the almanac, and not just the almanac. Not all the facts are in there, but The almanac published before Master Fraud Muhammad stepped foot in Detroit had most of the actual facts verbatim.
And this is my point. So I remember having arguments. I'm talking about dragged down arguments with brothers from the NOI. And one of their claim to fame is the Prophet Noble Drew Ali didn't tell the distance of this. I'm like, brother, this is known information at that time. That's not something that would qualify a prophet because it's already known. So
he gathered information, right? So he was resourceful. If you go to the 1938 Beinan article that Brother Alam mentioned, and by the way, Alam, I don't want to be, if you need to say anything, just let me just chime in.
No, I'm listening.
But
good stuff, brother.
In the Beinan article, Master Fraud Muhammad this is 1938. It's an academic article, and he's showing that like he's resourceful because he's recommending books. He's recommending books on history. He's recommending Jehovah's Witness, Judge Rutherford lectures on the radio. He was obviously using the almanac, or at least the same source that the almanac was getting those numbers from. But I think one of the main sources that a lot of people don't really know, one of the main sources for Master Fraud Muhammad's theology was actually something called the Theosophical Society. So Theosophy, for those of you, some of you guys know what New Age is.
Right.
Before New Age, you had a pre-New Age, religion, which was very popular among like upper middle class people in the 1910s and 20s. These were, free thinkers who were importing a lot of like Hindu philosophy and Buddhist philosophy and Greek philosophy into the United States.
You're talking about like Madame Blavatsky, and he had one book that it seemed like he was into called the Revealer or something like that. One of them books that was into the esoteric.
The secret wisdom, or was it the secret doctrine? The secret doctrine. Yeah, Madame Blavatsky. Yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
And there were others, Annie Besant, C.W. Leadbeater. So, I mean, these were books that were extremely popular where in California and specifically in San Quentin prison. So San Quentin, the biggest, according to a book called Grimhaven, which was written in 1920, written by someone that was in the prison at the same time as Master Fraud Muhammad. In that book, we learned that the biggest like neo-religious cult in San Quentin was the Theosophical Society. And right when Master Fraud Muhammad gets out of San Quentin in May 1929, where does he go? He goes to Chicago and then Detroit, and he teaches something very similar to Theosophy.
Yeah, well, now that's where I take the turn at. Now, when he goes to Chicago, this is one of the biggest hub for the Moorish Science Temple of America, and to me, from that's where my research turns, where it appears that the Moorish Science Temple of America, the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, was actually targeted to be flipped into what he was doing. They were specifically targeted to be flipped into what he's doing, and Detroit was the biggest place for the Moorish Science Temple of America.
Taharka, you're breaking up. You're breaking up. We can't hear you.
Yeah,
I'm breaking up.
No, we can hear you.
No, we're good. You're good now.
Right. So Chicago was said to have over 6,000 members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, and he went straight to that hub near State Street, and in Paradise Valley, it had 4,000 members, of the Moorish Science Temple of America. And it seems to me, and his first, I guess, teachers or those who was rocking with him, they come straight out of the Moorish Science Temple of America. So what is your research on why was the Moorish Science Temple of America was such an object of his desire to do what he was doing? Because it was straight. I mean, it's really clear that they were in the crosshairs to be.
So I do have a video on my channel. My channel is called Bilal's Boulder, BILALS BOULDER. Bilal's Boulder. There's a video about the Moorish Science Temple and the Nation of Islam, specifically in Master Fraud Muhammad. Anyway, so Master Fraud Muhammad would refer to Noble Drew Ali as a smeller, quote unquote.
I can't stand when you say that, but yeah.
But this is the terminology that was used. And in Alam's channel, you can find a video of It's the one where Alam, you probably know the title of the video, but it's the one where Farad writes a letter to Elijah Muhammad saying, "You have done minus things."
Yep. Let me put it up right here.
Yeah. So in that video, it's Elijah Muhammad giving instructions. Sorry, Farad Muhammad giving instructions to Elijah Muhammad to go to Chicago and to speak to, quote, smellers.
Yep.
He misspells it, but it's smellers.
Yep.
And specifically to refer to speak to someone with a Bey last name, Bey.
I think it was Brown Bay, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and of course Elijah Muhammad, even after Farad left, he would go to Moorish Science Temple of America,
all around the country.
Yeah, on the East Coast specifically, and he would try to fish for members, right?
Right.
Now, why did Farad go for them? Well, Farad in
Joe Bay, that it is, yeah.
Yep. So Farad in San Quentin would have met Garveyites because so you had a man in San Quentin by the name of Lehman, Lehman.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember his full name, Brother Alam?
Lucius Lehman.
Lucius Lehman, that's right.
Lehman. And I heard Lucius was the one that was giving him some of the understanding of the Moors and
so
esoteric.
And before we continue, I think I found possibly it could be a reference. Supreme Minister John Muhammad, he said, Master Farad said to us, there were many men in prison that we never seen who would have taught us. He said, none of our people really understand, not until he came. He said, many of our people could have taught us to help something clearer. And he's talking about black people, I'm talking about, not about Arabs. So, yeah. I mean, why would he say that?
Why would he say that? Sorry, go ahead, brother.
No, go ahead. Yep.
No, I just wanted to say that Lucius Lehman gets out of prison before Master Farad Muhammad enters. So they wouldn't have met, at least not in prison. But Lucius Lehman was there just before Master Farad. And Lucius Lehman says in one of his letters, and this is in Patrick Bowen's article on him, that the black prison population in San Quentin was, quote, 100% Garveyized. Meaning Lucius Lehman would call himself like the mufti or the Islamic leader of San Quentin, the Mufti of San Quentin. So he saw himself as some kind of a black Muslim. There was a Garveyite presence. There was a Theosophical Society presence. And so, of course, there would have been a Masonic presence because Freemasonry in 1930 was basically at its height in America in terms of membership. Mm-hmm. And W.D. Farad could pass for white when he wanted to. So when he got to Detroit/Chicago, think about it. Like there's Masonic, Garveyite, black, Muslim. You're going to be talking to Moors at some point, right? Because there's going to be some overlap. So a lot of his followers, there was a Gravit L. This is mentioned in what's his name? This was mentioned in the book by the Rise and Fall of Elijah Muhammad, the Messenger. What was his name? Forgetting his name.
Carl Evans.
Carl Evans, that's right. So Carl Evans' book. There's two brothers, a Gravit L. They were Moorish Science Temple members. They were in the nation under Farad. But then after the Voodoo murder, they went back to the Moorish Science Temple. So anyway, this was now what a lot of people say that Farad Muhammad was this David Fordell character. You must have heard this, brother.
Absolutely. I don't believe it.
Yeah, so Patrick Bowen argues that this is probably not the case. And the reason why he gives that is because Master Farad Muhammad was in San Quentin until May 1929. Yeah,
and this is the thing. And as a Moorish American that have studied the Moorish Science Temple of America inside out, and I'm talking about every angle, and I come through a line that is closely connected to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, and the brother who ever made that claim, and they even got a fake sign-in sheet. I don't know the brother who put it out, but whoever did, it's an error because no, he was never a member of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Yeah. Now there is evidence that Elijah Muhammad's father and his brother was members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. There's almost concrete evidence, but I don't like to put it out there until I have two pieces to verify.
I got to see that, brother. I got to see
Yeah,
that.
I would love to see the written evidence for that. I've heard it, even among elders, but it's all kind of hearsay. But there is a video that Alam knows of, he's uploaded on his channel probably, where Supreme Minister John Muhammad, the brother of Elijah Muhammad, said that Elijah Muhammad would visit, quote, would visit there. He would visit the Moorish Science Temple of America.
Right.
He doesn't say when, but it's implied in the video that this was during Noble Drew Ali's time.
Well, when 1934, if I'm not mistaken, and don't quote me on it, but Elijah Muhammad mentions that they have thousands of temples around the country. When we know in 1934, there wasn't thousands of temples, Muhammad temples or Allah Temple of Islam's around the country. The only one around the country was the Moorish Science Temple of America.
He would sometimes even write about, I visited the Muslims of this city and that city. Yeah, so that's probably, I mean, that's in John Andrew Morrow's first book, Finding WD Farad. But I wanted to say that this David Ford L rumor, as far as I know, originates from the 1940s. There's a book by, what is it, Botemps and Conroy. It's called They Seek a City.
Right. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so that's the earliest I could find where they claim in that book that Farad was this David Ford L character. But
yeah, I think that's an error, though. I think that's
just the location timeline that I gave Alam earlier, just it wouldn't support that.
Yeah, that's an error. I've been trashed that long time ago because it just doesn't fit the timeline of WD Farad in no way, shape, or form. It doesn't fit the timeline. You know what I mean? With that being said, let me get a question real quick. Someone asked a question: was there any connection between Deuce Muhammad Ali, Master Farad Muhammad, and Elijah Muhammad, as Deuce was spreading Islam in Detroit and Elijah mentioned Deuce Muhammad?
Yeah, so this is a question that I looked into myself. I was not able to prove that they were ever in the same location at the same time. I know Deuce Muhammad was an influence on Marcus Garvey. But in terms of being an influence on Master Farad Muhammad, I don't know. And yeah, I mean, I'm comfortable saying if I don't know something, like any real scientist should be comfortable at the drawing board.
Someone says Pear character is holding his belly laughing out loud. I don't know what Pear character is. I'm clueless at this point, but if you native readings, what that means, help us understand what that means. Pear character is holding his belly and laughing out loud. Thanks for the super chat though, but I don't know what that means. I mean, I don't know what that means at all. With that being said, have you or Khan, Brother Khan, have you ever had a conversation with any scholars that represent the NOI that would put up an opposing idea that gives any credibility to these images that we look at is not Master Farad Muhammad? Because that's the main argument, that it's not him.
Well, I would actually like to talk to anyone who would be interested in talking. I haven't exactly done any type of reaching out myself yet, but I'm open to having any discussion. It doesn't even have to be a debate. We can just talk about it. You know, I'm willing to talk about it with anyone, because at this point, it's just not even a debate. So
yeah, I mean, there's Brother Anton Beatty, I think regularly reaches out to Dr. Wesley, who, you know, we thank for his research and his contributions, even if there are areas of disagreement.
Peace to Wesley. I'm going to reach out to him, but yeah.
Well, I think he doesn't reply, unfortunately, to Brother Anton's emails, and so until they could sort that out between each other,
I'm going to reach out to him.
I think that would be beneficial to everybody, because again, I mean, you know, religion, you know, to me, it shouldn't be like this, you know, gatekeeping and grifting and secret documents and secret photographs. Like, no, this should all be on the table. Like,
but do you understand that a lot of credibility in lives is built on information that that is not measuring up, if you will. And I'm trying my best not to be disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? Like this is a tough conversation to have because people have built their lives around these scenarios and these
You know,
concepts.
it certainly is for a lot of people, but at the end of the day, with anything in life, it's really just an intelligence level. There's so many brothers and sisters. I mean, there's just good people. I mean, I talk to them all the time. I just was talking to someone today. I mean, professional people who love this tradition, and it's not about they all know, they're all learning the history just like we are. It's interesting to everyone, so it's not about a mythology spookism thing for the intelligent people. I mean, we're going to keep this tradition going, but at the same time, we're not going to be spooky.
Ultimately, I mean, religion should be about, ideally, it should be a pursuit of truth. That should be the highest goal of any philosophy or religion. It should be the pursuit of truth. So I think that should be everyone's goal, even if whether there's an intelligence issue or there's subconscious biases or what have you. You should at least try to be honest with yourself and honest with people around you as best as you can.
What do you have to say when someone says like last night, from the show last night, I looked at some comments and someone says, Taharka Bey, you a op, you working with the devils because just because I have a disagreement. What do you have someone say that, well, Bilal, what interest do you have in this? What horse do you have in a race? How do you respond to that as a researcher?
Mm-hmm. Well, what horse do I have? I don't have a horse in the race at all. Why I'm interested in this is because this is part of, my history as a Muslim in North America.
Okay.
And so Master Farad Muhammad comes from a part of the world that he claims that I come from that same part of the world. I actually come from Arabia. He says he comes from Arabia. His experience is kind of the immigrant's experience in a sense, where he comes and he tries to, work and hustle and even marry and this and that, but then, ends up in San Quentin and is kind of radicalized in the end. And I find that story, I mean, Master Farad Muhammad, he's more mysterious than, he's like James Bond, okay, on like, on some high, like, I mean, this guy is very interesting, and you don't have to sell it, right? You just tell somebody like, hey, there's this person who's worshipped as God by tens of thousands of people, maybe millions throughout recent history, who helped start the civil rights movement, basically, right? Because he teaches Elijah, who teaches Malcolm X, and Malcolm X is pivotal to the civil rights movement. So I mean, like, it's interesting history. Now, unfortunately, a lot of the time, people look at me and they just assume that I'm white or something. And it's like, well, I mean, I'm light skinned, sure. So was Master Farad Muhammad. I come from the same part of the world that he comes from. And everybody in my family is a different color. And white people don't accept me as white. And you know that. I'm an Arab.
Nobody's gonna roast you more about that than the people who will die for telling other people no. That die for telling other people WD Farad is black. How is WD Farad black, man?
Look, I have some African blood too. Okay, I'm
telling you,
I don't have any European
Are
blood
you
whatsoever.
are you the Asiatic black man? No, I'm just joking.
He is the Asiatic black man. We're all the Asiatic black man right here.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
Race is so complicated, and
Yeah, I'm just joking. Somebody
my point here is that with like everyone in my family, like race in the Middle East especially, one of my family members looks Egyptian, another one looks Bosnian, another one looks,
And like I'm saying though, Bilal, one thing about me, I try to stick to the research. I don't look when research tells a story. That's all that matters to me. That's 100. That's all that matters to me.
It's truth, right? And W.D. Farad himself, this he recommended books written by white people. Look at Judge Rutherford. He wasn't an Asiatic black man, but that book was being recommended by him, Deliverance, by Judge Rutherford, as well as his radio addresses. That's in the 1938 Bainon article.
Now, oh man, Here we go. Now, brother just put up a screenshot and I'll read it. It says, Muhammad did not tell the people back in his time that white folks were the devil. He didn't say that black people was the original man of the earth. He did not say that God is man. Muhammad ain't know nothing. He was another man that was, I would say, a dumb prophet to the people in this day. And due to the facts, Master Farah Muhammad, he was not a prophet. He was a warrior. And when you read this history, that's all he did. Now, that is said to be from John Muhammad, Elijah Muhammad, brother. Is I've never heard that type of running thought for the Nation of Islam.
Yeah. So the Nation of Islam, so W.D. Farad taught that a major prophet comes every 2,000 years. And so he felt that the last major prophet was Jesus 2,000 years ago, and then now was his time. And yes, W.D. Farad, when he was active, was being called Prophet Farad in the newspapers, just like Prophet Noble Drew Ali, right? So they were being called prophet, and that's in 1932, 1933. And that's in the newspaper archive, so you guys can look that up. But yeah, I mean, I am a Muslim. I do believe that historical Muhammad was a prophet. But yes, W.D. Farad would have taught that he was, a minor prophet, in other words.
That's a hard one right there because I don't know. Even in the more science temple of America, we don't look at him as a minor prophet. We just don't look at it like that.
So it's actually conflicting between many different writings of Elijah Muhammad, to be honest. It's extremely conflicting between major and minor. But we also have this reading that Bilal Muhammad discovered really recently when Elijah Muhammad was still writing under the name Kareem. And in this newspaper article, it's from 1933, he says that this is where it just throws a wrench. It just makes it so confusing. He said Muhammad is a full-blooded black man.
Right. And we talked about that last night. Yep.
Go ahead, and then it goes to he's of a black nation, and then it goes to he's a white man. And then it's not white, Caucasian. Bilal Muhammad, you have a opinion on this and how this changed the perspective we have on Muhammad?
So one way of maybe understanding this or reconciling it is Moses is called half original man and half Caucasian. Jesus, I think, is called half and half too, if I'm not mistaken. And it could be said that in the same way that Farad was white and black, you can say that Prophet Muhammad was white and black. That's one way of looking at it or thinking about it. I know I've read some people try to say that, well, black in Arabic white in Arabic doesn't really mean white because blah, 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 like with this Arabic dictionary. Now, that aside for a moment, in these same newspaper articles with Elijah Kareem says in 1933 in one of these articles that the white man can't enter Mecca. The white man is forbidden from the city of Mecca. Now, you can't square that circle, right? Because, how can white people be forbidden from Mecca in 1933? We know that white people were going in and out of Mecca. We know that a lot of people from Mecca. My dad is from Mecca. Okay, a lot of Meccans are white passing. And a lot of whites, from Bosnia and from other parts of Europe who are Muslim do go to Mecca. Yeah, here it is. Up. Yep, go up a little. Is that yes. The devil is none other than the Caucasian, and today the white man is forbidden within 50 square miles of the holy city of Mecca.
And Brother Bilal, what I'm saying is that the narrative that is taught is very conflicting. It's conflicting when you're talking about, and I know we want to try to make sure that we soften the blow. I get it. We want scholarship and not emotional rants and tirades. I get that. But it is, I'm not even saying compare it with.
This is wrong. This is just straight up wrong.
I'm not saying compare it with our Islam. I'm not saying compare it with the Muslim. I'm just saying that the bulk of the doctrine, it conflicts with itself. And it conflicts with the true historical account, as pointed out in this. The true historical account is that I think everybody knows. Like, one of the things that is spoke about Arabs, one of the first things that we always say is the pale Arab, the pale Arab. And we're actually implying that this is a European descended Arab that who came and conquered the earth. And even Wesley Muhammad came up with a book to talk about the black Arab, if you will. Black Arabia. I think that's the name of the book, Black Arabia. So when we say pale Arab, we're talking about an Arab of European descent. And that is a common term in our community. Now, when you look at something like this, is that they're not allowed, like, it's conflicting.
It's just wrong. I mean, so I think this newspaper article puts a nail in the coffin of the theory that everything the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says is correct. No, not everything he says is correct.
Man, y'all gonna get me in trouble tonight.
I'm just saying.
I'm just playing. I'm not playing, but it's all good.
I know.
Shoot me first, man.
None of us are playing here.
Shoot me first.
The point here, listen, it's not just this. It's also the time when he says he only has 7 kids. He says it in the interview with the Japanese. He says it. It's not me. I'm not making this up. It's on YouTube.
I remember.
He says it. I only have this many kids. He says that Vietnam is a Buddhist country. Sorry. He says that it's a Hindu country.
Now we can talk about that now. And this is another topic of Hinduism.
The natives were exiled from India because they wanted to be Buddhist. And look, I mean, some of this is just wrong.
But right? Hold on one second. Let's rewind. Con, you was about to mention something about Hindu. A brother hit me on Facebook, if I'm not mistaken, and he mentioned how Elijah was teaching that Master Farad taught that Hindus is the devil's faith or something to that degree. What you was about to speak on about the Hindus?
Yeah, so Brother Bilal mentioned it, that Elijah taught that Vietnam was a Hindu country. So what he did was just associate Buddhism and Hinduism with the same thing, and that's what Farad did. Mix them up. It could, and this is a whole another conversation. But yes, Master Farad taught that 35,000 years ago, Buddhism occurred, and then 16,000 years ago, they were kicked out to America. And those are the Native Americans. And he taught that there's the black man who's the original man. So that's Africans, that's Indians, and that's the people who got kicked out of India and went to America. Those are also the original people. But then he said that the people in India are not your brothers because they practice Hinduism, even though they are kicked out. So this gets confusing. He said they're not your brother because they practice Hinduism. And then Elijah Muhammad said, I would bomb all of India if I could. That's what he said. And basically, Farad taught that if you see a Christian and a Hindu walking down the street, you kill the Hindu first. So why did he say that? Because he lived next to them, regardless of what you agree or not. If you agree with that or not, that's where he lived. There's no Hindus in Saudi, and there wasn't even Saudi Arabia. There wasn't Hindus in Mecca at that time, right, Bilal? No. There's no Hindus around there.
So, I mean, if Farad was coming from South Asia or Central Asia, then you can see that maybe he had some history with Hindus, and maybe there's this cultural animosity, as many Pakistanis and Indians don't get along today. Pakistan didn't exist at that time. It was all British India. But the point is that a lot of the time there were clashes, even in America, between Hindus and Sikhs and Muslims of South Asian extraction.
Wow. At the end of the day, when I look at these conversations, because I know in the Moorish Science Temple of America, we look at Hindus and the lessons that is taught to the Hindus as a universal lesson that can be extracted from what people call idol worshipers. We look at it from a universal perspective. We don't look at it as these are idolaters, kill them and all that. No. There's a universal approach to the people of India, of Hindustan, if you will, at the time, that is universally lines up with Islam. if you will. That's how we see it in the Moorish Science Temple of America. We look at the unity of Allah within that, and we know that people do, take it and throw it off of a cliff as time go on and it loses its essence. And that's with the Hindu, and then with with Buddhism, we see that the same way. We see that as the principled, original principled Buddhist understanding is a universal teaching that all lines up. Even if you look at it from an esoteric perspective, it all lines up with raw Islam. And I'm not talking about cultural Islam. I'm talking about raw Islam. And so just to hear that, that Hindus, you bomb the Hindu first, and in the Moorish Science Temple of America, we don't follow that ideal that one of the concepts of Moorish Science Temple of America that you shouldn't even crush the meanest worm beneath your feet. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't follow that concept. So that's the first time I ever heard to that degree you bombed the Hindu first. That's a little bit out there. Yeah, that's
Them
a little
Packies,
bit out
man. Them Packies. Just playing.
I told you Carl could get me in trouble. But listen. Let's go about 10 more minutes. Let's see if anybody have any questions out there real quick. Family, so someone says, so this con man goal was what?
Oh, this con man goal is the interesting truth, brother. What world are you living in? Do you not live? You don't want to learn about your leader and these teachings? I don't know what you're doing. You're just lame. You're boring. Go ahead and do whatever you're doing in life, man. You're probably poor. I don't give a damn. Like your life probably sucks, man. Like what will you not care? I'm sorry, like no disrespect. I don't know who you are, but bro, what are you talking about, man?
See, I think one thing about us as people, we need to learn to mature a little bit and respect what the research says. Forget the individual.
What's my goal? I don't have a goal. I don't have any goal, man.
Actually, to be fair to Alam, all he does is reproduce the lectures of Elijah Muhammad, John Muhammad, Sister Bernstein. All he does is just take their voice or their text and then put it to a video, and it's like high definition documentary style videos, right? With all the bells and whistles.
I know what I wanted to ask. Someone asked earlier, what about is there any, because someone was asking this a couple of times, and I'm sorry that I forgot your question, whoever you were, but I do remember now and it just hit me. Someone was saying Farad was born in Oregon. Is there a birth certificate or anything that says he was born in Oregon?
No, I know that so I see in the chat that there's a Jasper, Texas theory. That's been
I don't go with that theory either.
Yeah, so that's been refuted very convincingly in Anton Beatty and Kevin Morris's book, W.D. Farad's First Footsteps in America. So if you do think that he's in Jasper, Texas, or he's from there, basically Jasper, Texas had a lot of red bone people, right? People that were mixed between white, black, and native and Spanish. And so there is someone with a similar name that is born there. And so there's one theory that he's from there and that he wasn't foreign. But this book demolishes that. Farad did come from Asia, and he came on a ship called the SS Coptic, and he arrived in California in 1907.
Okay.
There we go.
But it says that it's when you say Asia, can you be specific? Is it China, Hong Kong?
He takes off. So the SS Coptic
because Mama say we as a culture, we speak in like definites, and so when you say Asia, the research says that he came in from a ship from Hong Kong. How does he end up in Hong Kong?
So they didn't have airplanes back then. So they, if you wanted to come to America from the part of the world that he's from, which is Central or South Asia, you'd have to go to China. And then from China, you'd go to Japan. And then from Japan, you'd go to Hawaii. And then from Hawaii, you'd go to California. And this is all by ship. Now, W.D. Farad himself said that he visited a lot of these countries. Like he said that he visited Japan and he visited Brother Alam has the video. It's in his documentary or it's in one of his videos. he talks about Canada, and he talks about Alaska, and he talks about all these places that he's been to. And he was a traveler. I mean, you look at the location timeline that I have, this guy clearly loved traveling. And so I wouldn't be surprised one bit if he was in New Zealand, if he was in this place and that place. So we can confirm that if he was on that SS Coptic, then yes, he would have taken off from Hong Kong.
And someone said, what about New Zealand? Is it possible he was born in New Zealand and his family was just in Afghanistan? Well, on some paperwork, it says that he was born in Spain too. So I think sometimes W.D. Ford is just throwing a curveball on some of this paperwork.
He was.
Yeah, on some of this paperwork, he's just throwing a curveball. It just is what it is, because some of it doesn't match up with the timeline. Again, I've been studying this for a long time. And some of it just don't match up, and it's an honor. If anybody into research, then you would know how much of it is to have an honor like Brother Khan, Brother Muhammad on here, because if you're really into research, it's like a thirst. It's like a thirst to try to solve the equation. And over years, more and more come out. And like, this is one of them things where you don't let up off the gas. And even right now, although we reach some type of plateau, if you will, or crescendo, it's really not a crescendo, because there will be more information to come out in the future. And
we find new things every week. We find new things every single week. You know, just a couple weeks ago, we found the first paper trail of Master Fraud Muhammad in Detroit, near Paradise Valley. And it was in a neighborhood with the name W.B. Ford, and he was a salesman staying at a hotel near the same neighborhoods.
I haven't seen that. You got to send me that.
Hold on. We got to share this. So one of the things that I looked into was him being a salesman of pharmaceuticals and not silks. Now, with that being said, that would line up with the time of the Depression, because one of the main things, in order to get in people's houses, one of the main things was people was ill during that time of depression, of depression. And one of the main products of the Moorish Science Temple of America was the oil, teas, and compounds and elixirs. You know what I'm saying? So it would make sense that the silks never really made a lot of sense to me during the Depression. But I don't know if y'all ever seen the mail order of the pharmaceuticals in Chicago, the receipt on that.
I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen that he worked for a pharmaceutical company. I know that he also sold suits and things like that.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, look, Farad was clearly someone who was pretty extroverted and very good with sales. I mean, he was tamale sales, tamale stand. He had his own cafe. Then he did this door-to-door thing, and he converted thousands of people in a short span of years. So I mean, this guy was clearly electric. Like you said, you're in the introduction. You're calling us electric or whoever, but Master Farad Muhammad was electric. Okay, this guy was clearly very charismatic and a great salesman. And you know what? Like people bought his product in the tens of thousands.
Let me read this real quick. He said, Ford said since his release from San Quentin, he had been selling doctor supplies. There it is, Con. Man, we like the homie, we like the Hebrew Israelites. Read! and then you just pop up with it as soon as I say it. Let me finish reading. During this visit in 1932, Ford gave Hazel a small box containing self-threading needles. This box was postmarked 4/28/30 from Marceline Chemical Company, 1900 West Broad Street, Richmond, Virginia, and was addressed to W.D. Ford, General Delivery, Chicago, Illinois. One of the things that I want to point out, and it could be a typo error, when Elijah Muhammad gives the challenge, I think it's.
I'm still waiting for my 100,000.
Yeah, but when he gives the challenge, let me see if I can find it real quick. Is this mine? Hold up, where's mine at? No, that's it. Hold up. All right, let me share my screen real quick. When he gives this challenge, if you will. Oh, 1 second. I noticed that he doesn't say. It could be petty. I don't know. Slides. There you go.
Words matter.
All right. Oh, right here. I don't think I'll be able to blow it up, but in this article right here, it said something. Oh, maybe I chopped it. Maybe I chopped it. Hold up. Let me see right here. That's not it. Nah. But he mentioned that this is not the fraud that came in 1931, when in fact, hold up. Let me stop this, and I'll show it to you. But he doesn't say 1930. He doesn't say 1931 as, I mean, what did he say? What year was he say was teach? 1930. He came in 1930.
Yes.
So
Well, in
the
this
lore,
article,
the lore is that he came in July 4th, 1930.
1930. Well, in this article that I'm gonna pull up in a second, he mentions that. Let me see if I can find. I thought I had it. It's right here, if I'm not mistaken. Here it is, right here. Let me blow it up for you. He says, I'm going to screenshot it. And again, I just look at detail, and I don't like to be petty, but I definitely look at detail. Right here. In this article, as you see, I got it highlighted. I got it highlighted right there. It says Elijah Muhammad, messenger of Allah, told Los Angeles Herald Examiner office on Monday, July 29, 1963, that my followers and I will pay Los Angeles Herald Examiner newspaper $100,000 to prove that the headline charge, Black Muslim found exposed as white, made against that we are following one Wallace Dodd with many aliases, including the name Ford, that he is the man, that he is the man that I am representing to my people as being Master Fard Muhammad, Allah in person, who appeared among us in Detroit, in Michigan in 1931, is the same person. Now, in this article, he says 1931. Now, I think that's a hard typo there. If it's
No,
a typo.
it's not a typo. It's not a typo because he's talking about when he met him.
Elijah Muhammad met Master Fard Muhammad in, I believe, September 1931.
Okay, I got you. All right, makes sense. I'm glad you cleared that up. I would like to say, hold up, because the story is.
I do want to say a couple things. Elijah Muhammad calls himself the messenger of Allah, the messenger of Master Fard Muhammad. Master Fard Muhammad never makes him a messenger. And
right,
that claim only comes from Elijah Muhammad. The title that Master Fard Muhammad gave Elijah Muhammad was minister, specifically minister of Islam. You can see that in the letters that Farad writes to Elijah Muhammad. You could see that in the newspaper articles that Elijah Muhammad publishes, first under the name Elijah Kareem and then under the name Elijah Muhammad. And then even in the final call published in August 1934, Elijah Muhammad is just the minister of Islam, and his brother Khalat Muhammad is called the head investigator. Now, and Khalat Muhammad is standing in the foreground of that photo with everybody else behind him. So, he doesn't become the messenger of Allah until end of 1934, maybe even in 1935. That's when he starts using the name apostle and, messenger and such. But the title that W.D. Farad gave him was Minister of Islam. You can see it right there. To Mr. Elijah Muhammad, the Minister of Islam. I believe this is in September 1933. Yes, you can see the date right there.
Yep. Now, somebody asked, was there any connection to the French and Young Turks?
Yeah, so the flag of the Nation of Islam comes from the Young Turks Revolution flag. Straight up. So what is the Young Turks Revolution flag? If you could pull that up, Brother Alam.
Yes, sir.
So it is a red flag with a white moon and crescent with words in the corners. And those words are freedom, justice, equality. And then instead of Islam, it says brotherhood. So that's the flag right there. Now, yes, the star and crescent is reversed. It's not exactly the same, but I mean, how likely is it that you could just
now you didn't just really crack the seal, because last night on the show I was talking about how the Moorish use a white background with a red star and a crescent. As as you can see the colors we have on, and every color that the Moors represent, it's like Elijah, Master Farah Muhammad reversed it, but now this takes it to a whole nother level because we use love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And I always was wondering, how did he reduce love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice to freedom, justice, and equality? Well, he didn't reduce it. Here we go.
So if it was just the red flag and the white crescent, I would have let it slide. It's like, okay, that's enough. There's coincidence.
Yeah, no, this is groundbreaking here. Go ahead. This is
once you have the same words, and not just like on the flag, but in the corners of the flag.
Yeah, this is groundbreaking here.
That's where it becomes. And here's the thing: W.D. Farad never claimed to invent that flag. What he said is, this is the flag of our people, and it goes back in time immemorial. Now, the Young Turks Revolution flag, think of it like this. What was the Muslim entity, right, in Farad's lifetime? It was the Ottoman Empire. The Ottoman Empire was the caliphate, right?
I don't mean to cut your wisdom. So this is how the connection to the Moorish Science Temple of America happens. In the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, it says that the Turks are the true possessors of the Islamic creed. And but it's talking about an era of time in which you're mentioning now. It's not talking about present day. You know what I mean? They are the possessors of the Islamic creed. And so go ahead.
That's the 1910s, if I'm not mistaken. You can correct me on that.
Yes, but what I'm saying is, this is where I was telling people, the Moorish Science Temple of America, how some of the core teachings intersect, and then it changes just a little bit, and then the Nation of Islam really turns into what we know to be the nation of today, with between 42 and the 60s. Or the 50s and the 60s. But before then, there was a bunch of esoteric, there's a bunch of Moorish science, there was a bunch of a little Jehovah Witness, a little Ahmadiyya. There's a little bit of everything up in there. But a lot of the imagery was directly connected to the Moorish Science Temple of America. But this right here is groundbreaking right here.
Absolutely. And I want to say this, that the claim, and this, you can find this in the 1951 Hatem Sahib thesis. The claim is that this flag was being worn by Masons and was in the White House and all of that. Now, that's kind of true too, because the Shriners, right? Those of you who don't know, in Freemasonry, there is a suborder called the Shriners. Okay. And the Shriners, in those days, you had to be a 32 or 33 degree Mason in order to become a Shriner. And the Shriners wore fezzes, red fezzes, just like the Moorish brothers. And specifically, those fezzes had the star and crescent on them. Correct. So and by the way, I mean, this was not just like some weird group of people. Like today, the Shriners are just running like children's hospitals, and they do parades and do stupid things. But back then, I mean, President Truman was a Shriner, right? Here you got the video. John Wayne was a Shriner. Douglas MacArthur was a Shriner. Buzz Aldrin was a Shriner. Prime Minister Diefenbaker was a Shriner. Like all these like household names of presidents and generals. Gerald Ford was a Shriner. So these guys are all Shriners. They all had, salam alaikum, wa alaikum salam. They had the fezzes. There you go, with the star and crescent on them. So yeah, back then the Nation of Islam was saying like, hey, Islam is a secret religion of white people. Now it's not really the secret religion of white people, but it's to say that the Masons, the highest degree Masons, did read the Quran. And did have this kind of mockery, playful, festive kind of obsession with Arabic culture and the religion of Islam? Because remember, and I'll just end with this. I know that I'm going on and on. In the 1800s, you had something called Orientalism. This is when the British and Americans and others were very interested in the East. Okay, they were very, very interested in the Arab and Muslim world. Because they thought it was like a land of genies and magic carpets, and not literally, but you know what I mean. Like they had this romantic image of the East, and you can read Edward Said's book, Orientalism. So by the end of the Ottoman Empire, that interest is in full blow in America.
Absolutely.
There were movies and plays, and so Farad also, he comes at a time when people were talking about this stuff and people were interested in this stuff. It was in the newspapers, it was in the movies, it was in the plays. So to say that you were from Arabia and from Mecca and that you were coming with Islam, right? It's not like today where there's Muslims everywhere and you get tired of them. In those days, it was a novelty, right? It was this mysterious Eastern religion. He was coming and saying, hey guys, I'm from the East, and Mecca is this place where the roads are paved with gold and all the best technologies in the East and all the best riches are in the East. And you guys are from the East and I will take you there. And so that there was a kind of an appeal to all of this.
Let me say this to Brother Khan. I forget who it was, but whoever made the comment about what is this con man's goal, he came back and said he wasn't referring to you. He actually was talking about I think Master Farah Muhammad.
If I mouth out of, I can't even see the comments. So if I don't even know who you are, I'm sorry if I,
he came back and said that he was talking about Master Farah Muhammad. So
he didn't deny that he had a bad life. That's what Alam Khan was saying, that he had a bad life. Sir. He came back, but he didn't deny that.
Okay. What was the goal from your perspective, from either one of you guys' perspective? What was the goal of Master Farah Muhammad?
I mean, this is one of the things.
What was the objective? Yeah. He goes into the most depressed area of Africans in America, if you will, that are practicing this Moorish science, Islam religion. He finds his way to get a few of those followers of the Moorish science symbol of America, and then from that, they seem to be building from that perspective. What was the objective?
Yeah, I mean, it's number 18 in the lesson number 2. I mean, it's what is the duty of a civilized person? So he sees these people and he has the knowledge and he gives them the knowledge. So you could just leave it at that. There's, of course, it's much deeper than that. At the same time, you can picture that though. Just you going out through life, you give people advice because you know it and they don't know it, and you see that they're not doing good, and then you give it to them. So that's one thing. And you can't. One thing about it is that the scammer allegations don't really work with W.D. Farad because he was a real businessman, and that's a whole nother conversation.
I mean, look, so
I don't know because one of the statements that he made about selling those ID cards, now they could be lying on him, don't get it twisted, but one of the statements that he made, allegedly they say he made, is that it was all and I don't think he used the word scam, but he basically says
racket,
that it was a racket. There it is. It was a racket. And little do people know, because I'm a member of the Moorish Science Temple of America, I understand that even today people try to sell paperwork. I mean, fake paperwork in the Moorish Science Temple of America. But many people, when they join the Moorish Science Temple of America, they will get on my heels. When do I get my nationality card? When I get my membership card? And that was like a really big thing back then, Yes. So, and he says that it was a racket.
Brother was praying to get pulled over. Yeah, so no.
I'll say this. First, when it comes to determining people's intentions, right? What is anyone's intention? It's very hard to determine anyone's intention. Like if I ask you, what is Donald Trump's intention right now in being the president of the United States? Right. It's hard to say. I mean, the guy's multifaceted. I don't know. I don't even know if he knows what his intention is necessarily. What was Joe Biden's intention in being the president of the United States? People are multifaceted. There's conscious and subconscious factors at play. With W.D. Farad, there is a lot at play. Now, he does tell the police, according to the newspapers, that it was a racket. But at the same time, I mean, that could be just an easy way to get the police to kind of dismiss you.
But all the places in the world from San Quentin, he picks the most populated areas of Moorish science. The two. Now there were other places, Detroit and Chicago.
Yeah,
like
I'm not convinced that he was doing it for money.
Okay,
And
I got
I
you.
can tell you why.
Okay, I got you.
So he
Now,
goes.
I don't know. I believe that the Moorish Science Temple of America was infiltrated, and this was a part of the last brick of the Moorish Science Temple of America that had already been dismantled.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, could he have made lots of money on the names? Yes. I mean, there are some conflicting reports, by the way, on the names, because on some authorities he was selling the names for $10 each. On some authorities, they say no, he wasn't selling them at all. Okay, like this debate goes back early to the early to about 1932. This debate goes back. I can't determine what was going on exactly. It's possible he sold some and they didn't sell others. Now, was he getting rich off of these very, very poor people? Probably not, honestly. We can see that he was using a lot of his own money to build the institutions of the Nation of Islam. So, he had sold his car at one point in order to pay the temple rent. There was a poor fund in the temple, which was going to support families that were being kicked off of welfare because of their association with the group. Again, Master Farad Muhammad just lives in hotels and is traveling around the country. It's possible that he was making money. But the other thing is that, like, is this the best way to make money? Is it through these people that don't really have a lot of money? And by sharing it and by staying for years and by, he got punched in the face and lost a tooth.
But what about the story where Hazel say he came back and he was dressed in these robes and he was in this fancy schmancy car and all that? What about that?
This is why I go back to the point about intentions being multifaceted and complicated. Like, it's possible that, yeah, he got a new car. He did get a new car from his followers. He did have to sell one of his cars to pay for temple rent. It's complicated, like all of us, right? Like, why did I become a teacher? Right. The money is part of it, but then there's the education, you believe in something. With Farad, what he was teaching was very much a reflection of his time. And what I mean by that is, he wasn't just coming and just selling names. He was teaching theosophy. He was teaching Jehovah's Witness stuff. He was teaching, Moorish Science Temple stuff. He was teaching Freemason stuff. He was teaching Ahmadi stuff. He was teaching Quranic stuff. And, I think he really believed in some of this stuff. I mean, I think that it is quite possible that in San Quentin, he had a liking to Garveyism. He may have had a liking to Islam. He may have had a liking to theosophy. And he came and taught it because, look, one of the ways that I see Farad's, life is his life is a life of a failed immigrant. He was this guy that came from Asia to the United States, and the entire time he's being treated like a foreigner. He's being treated, as far back as 1908, he's being called a Greek. He's being called a Turk. He's going to prison for that. A white woman falsely accuses him, quote unquote, Laura Swanson in 1914. He has this, Hazel Barton, has her own run-ins with crime. She may have murdered a woman in, I believe, 1926.
Oh, that's the wife?
Hazel Barton, the common law wife of Master Farad Muhammad.
That's breaking news right there.
Breaking news.
That's breaking news right now. Because I've studied this for years, but that's the first time I heard that.
Hazel Barton, okay. Hazel Barton in the 1920s, she's going out with this other guy. Okay, let me go back.
Oh, Khan, man, you better stop, man. Y'all gonna get more Shrill TV.
Bro, I'm done after this. After they see this picture, call Dr. Umar, man. Bogus as hell. Farad, what was you doing?
It's not the best picture of her, but anyway.
No, for sure.
This is good, man. I'm a researcher.
They gotta see Laura Swanson. They gotta see Laura Swanson, man.
So Laura Swanson was the girl that he had allegedly sexually assaulted in the 1910s. She was also a member of the. She was in like a woman's version of the Freemasons. I forget the name of the organization. And that's the one. And she used to organize dances, and she used to dance the waltz. Farad used to dance the waltz. Anyway, this is a story for another time. But Farad goes to trial and he's found not guilty. Okay, so this white woman accuses him. He later is associated with Hazel Barton. Hazel Barton, at one point, is arrested with a bunch of other people because there was a woman that died in a restaurant that she was a waitress at, and she ended up marrying that woman's husband. And it turned out that woman had bit some kind of poison. Now the police determined at the time that like, oh, she committed suicide. That she, at the restaurant she ingested the poison herself, and because she was jealous that her husband was flirting with other women. But again, Hazel was arrested on suspicion that she may have given poison to that person. She may have been involved in the drug. If Farad was selling drugs from Wally's Cafe, Hazel was a waitress at that cafe. You see where I'm getting at.
But Hazel, and the thing is that the interview with Hazel, she seems such a gentle soul. Well, he was a nice guy, and he never did any wrong, and he's really good guy, and it just didn't work out.
There's a thing here, which is that Hazel may have been covering her own tracks and covering his tracks.
That's what I'm getting to now.
Yeah. So she wasn't like, this was Michael Muhammad Knight's book, The Supreme Wisdom Lessons, shows that she was not this lily white, oh, what happened, and I have no idea that my husband was doing this and that. And, oh, really? I never heard him talk about politics or religion or what have you. Now, Farad was known as a street corner politician in Mexican newspaper, in Spanish language newspapers in the 1920s. He puts out an Illuminati code in the 1910s where he talks about Goethe, which was revered by the Shriners. Yes. It's all in my book. Yeah. He puts out a code where he's like, oh, there's a $70 check for, and then he jumbles all these letters, and then you put that through the anagram breakers, and it's very, very, very close to the name of Goethe. And who's Goethe? Well, he's one of the members of the Bavarian Illuminati. Okay, and he was one of the greatest German authors of all time. But he's also revered by the Shriners. There you go. So you put that name in the anagram breaker, and it gets very close to the name of Goethe. Goethe is spelled Goethe. You guys can look him up if you'd like. But he is revered by the Shriners and he's a great German author and intellectual, and he was a member of the Bavarian Illuminati. So Farad was doing this esoteric stuff for a long time, as far as we can see.
Why does it seem to be that now this conversation that he was well connected or well informed? Should I say that? Like because in Detroit, everybody was. It's hard to say it, but I have to say it. They were very, very limited in education.
That's what made Farad so appealing, because here's this guy who seems to be well read and well educated. And he's coming and he's imparting this, you could say, like upper class or upper middle class knowledge, right? Theosophy, Masonry. He's giving this stuff and he's imparting it to people that never went to school and may not have, Elijah Muhammad had a third grade education. John Muhammad, didn't finish high school. A lot of these guys never had their diploma. And so when you have somebody who's coming and he's an intellectual, he knows the Bible, he knows the Quran, and he knows this, the actual facts, and he knows, it's very impressive to these people. And I mean, I can see how he would have been mesmerizing to the undereducated people of Paradise Valley.
Now it all makes sense. It all makes sense to what somebody was asking me the other night. Well, how can all of these people be attracted to such and such? It makes sense. It's mesmerizing.
In the 1951 Hatem Sahib thesis, you actually have a chart that shows the education level of a sample size of the Nation of Islam at that time. And I think it was only about 10% of them that actually had their high school diploma. So you have to remember that, like, this was a very impoverished and undereducated community, and it's unfortunate.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Jim Crow. You guys have to remember, this was Jim Crow. The nation was being targeted by COINTELPRO. This was J. Edgar Hoover's time. Like, America is a very racist place, and I mean, especially back then. So unfortunately, yeah, Black people were not given the education that white people had, and people like Farad were able to come in and fill that vacuum.
This is amazing, man. I want to thank y'all for joining me, brother. I want to see if we can come back with another subject matter, because it's so many variables, various subject matters of this story. I would love for y'all to come back, man. I want everybody to digest this and look at some of the comments. And if it's possible, can we do a part 2 on this and expand this conversation a little bit, maybe next week or something? Anybody interested?
Inshallah.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, this is amazing.
I,
This is amazing.
yeah, I wasn't planning on anything, and now it was just the
Yes.
other
I
day.
didn't
just
even know. I
decided-
just saw
Yeah.
I just saw Alam's story, and I'm like, can
Yeah.
I join?
I'm so unprepared. It's just we just did it off the cuff, and man, we're going in, man. My fingers are hurting, man,
Yeah,
from pulling up all these
no,
sources, bro.
this is what I originally used to do on Morse World TV. And I want to really get back to. I still want to have fun with these grifters. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah,
But
I want to talk. I want to debate, man. Come on.
Can we reply to some of these questions in the comments? I see.
Yeah, absolutely. Come on with it. Come on with it. Answer.
So someone says he was a Rosicrucian. I think that's possible. I think it's possible that he took some influence from the Rosicrucians. I don't know how to pronounce that.
Yeah. I think it's highly possible if once you just put out the information that he was dealing with the Illuminati. Absolutely, because all of that's
Masons. So on my channel, there's a video on the Masons. On my channel, there's a video on Moorish Science Temple. You guys should check that out.
And you know, if you come for the Moors, I got to come for you, brother Bilal.
Yeah. I'll come back, inshallah. In terms of his what we got here, Pakistani or New Zealander. Hazel Barton said that he was from New Zealand. Now the forensic linguistic analysis determined that he was an Urdu speaker. That's his first language, most likely, according to the forensic linguistic analysis. You can find more information in this book. What else do we got here? Again, like I see kind of Farad almost as like you got the American dream. He comes and he works and he has this white girlfriend and wife, common law, but he ends up in jail. And he ends up in jail. You know what happens in prison, especially he's a 5'6", guy with an accent. In the 1920s, like San Quentin was notorious in those days. It was infamous. It was not humane conditions. And so I could see how somebody could come out of that radicalized. He did everything right in the early part of his life. And then he ends up in prison after all these failed relationships with white people and being treated as a foreigner. This is the experience of, in a sense, like his story is a lot like Malcolm X in the sense of, I think he did a lot of his learning and his studying in prison, right? This was like prison was, you had University of California courses, you had theosophy, you had like the Lucius Lehman and Garveyite presence there, so I think like he went to work in those few years that he was in prison. And then once he got out of prison, I think this man was ready for war.
Yeah. And so one of the things that I really want to try to narrow down is, which I think it'll come later, is why Detroit and Chicago. That's a great interest to me. Why Detroit and Chicago? And then
Quentin was hot. He wanted somewhere cold.
And then after Detroit and Chicago, Elijah goes to the Smellers, which is the Moors, and it's all Moorish territory where he goes to. Wherever he goes, Baltimore, D.C., he goes to a Moorish Science Temple of America. I think that missing link of the reason for that.
By the way,
interesting when it comes out.
We do the emotional recognition analysis of his pictures in this book, and guess what he's feeling in most of those pictures?
What he feeling?
Nothing. This guy was so used to getting arrested over and over and over again. He was able to just look right in your eyes, right? And he's not scared. He's not, he's just he's used to it. It's routine. And he was very calm and collected. And to me, I mean, there's something in psychology called repetition. What is it called? It's in the book. Repetition. Search the word repetition in the book, Brother Alan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's in one of my chapters. I think it's called repetition compulsion in psychology. Repetition compulsion is when people who are subject to trauma end up revisiting that trauma. Okay, so it's like sometimes you have women who were victims of sexual abuse, So then they go into more sexually abusive relationships, or they go into porn or something like that. So it's kind of similar, where repetition compulsion, maybe Master Farad Muhammad, kind of his way of dealing with the trauma of arrests was, he had all these run-ins with the police. He'd get arrested over and over and over again, even in the Nation of Islam, right? Even in the 1930s, he got arrested in November 1932. He gets arrested again in May 1933. He gets arrested again in September 1933, all for different reasons. But he's cool with it, and he gets out, and he knows the system, and he's confident enough. He won the trial with Laura Swanson in the 1910s. So this guy knew the system, and he wasn't afraid of it.
The one of the things that you mentioned about, he was emotionless. Emotionless. It reminds me of people that I've come in contact with that when I went through my ordeals with the system, you would meet people that was basically unlivers. They would take some lives, and they had this blank stare. I mean, like, just hard blank stare. They was cool, you know what I'm saying, because of the environment. What I mean, cool as individuals and talk, but you could see like there was nothing there, like nobody home.
Like Farad, but nobody's home. Farad also had a temper too. Alam, can you maybe speak about that?
Well, the temper is talked about with his students, like Bernstein Sharif Muhammad. He was just a hard teacher. And you can see he's from the East. You can just look at the Chinese and the Indians, or even some Africans, and just look at the way that they police their kids, and you can see that's what Farad was doing. So like Bernstein Sharif would mess something up, and you'd put her face down to the paper, stuff like that. And we know that he owned his restaurant, and then he pistol whipped a white man.
Gillibrand,
yeah, he pistol whipped a white man.
He curb stomped him.
Yeah.
I don't see one thing. I don't see before we get out of here. I don't see any brothers from the Nation of Islam. Now we got plenty of people in the chat, but I don't see any of them stepping up to bat. And normally they would be stepping up to bat. Send me the link. So I think we've covered a lot of ground, and I would love to have anyone who wished to have this conversation to come on the show, have a conversation. But don't bring the disrespect, don't bring the discord, just bring the conversation and bring the evidence and bring the logic that you stand on as it relates to the historicity of the Nation of Islam or WD for Muhammad. Let me tell you this. I reached out to Dr. Wesley. Me and Dr. Wesley was cool at one point. I mean, we was cool. I think we became uncool when I started talking about the subject matter. And I reached out to him. I said, Dr. Wesley, I said, before I really got deep into the subject matter, because I did a couple shows on this. Before I got deep into the subject matter, I said to Dr. Wesley, I said, brother, let's have a conversation on the relationship between the Moorish Science Temple of America and the Nation of Islam and WD for Muhammad. And he told me on the phone at this time, I have his number on the phone. He told me that he had a gag order. He couldn't speak at that time, and he'll get back with me. But a week later, he was on another podcast talking. So a friend of mine that brings lectures to Baltimore that know him very well, and I said to my friend, Wesley been here many times to promote all his stuff, his books, even buck breaking movie or documentary. He's been here many times. I had him call him. I said, brother, see if you can get Dr. Wesley on the phone and see if he would have a conversation with myself about WD for Muhammad, about the Moorish Science Temple of America, Nation of Islam. I said, that's a scholarly conversation. And again, Wesley Muhammad responded back to him. According to the friend of mine that brings Wesley on to lectures, Wesley says, I'm too disrespectful. And now, I've never disrespected anybody. I never curse anybody out. I never do these type of crazy things that we see on social media. But I think it's going to be hard to find someone to really have a good intellectual conversation on this subject matter. But if anybody out there that knows somebody that is of a difference of opinion and have research, or even if you don't have research, you just have a story to tell that stands on logic and reason, I welcome you to come to the channel. We have a conversation.
Yeah, I mean, most of the conversations that I've had have been, hey, you know, gatekeeping. You shouldn't talk about this. Only ministers should talk about this. Only African Americans should talk about this, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But like, you know, as far as I'm concerned, the Nation of Islam has been sitting on this for 100 years. And in that 100 years, they haven't even determined who Farad was. Like, they can't just do basic, you know, basic facts, basic documents, basic photographs, very basic evidence. So it's like, well, how are you guys going to create a separate America if you can't figure out the most basic facts?
Yeah.
So as far as I'm concerned, I mean, the gatekeeping is over. We're almost at 100 years since Farad came. It's time for some, you know, people to, you got to open this up. And what's very near correct has to become fully correct if Islam is truly mathematics.
And let's say this in closing. I don't think, from my perspective, I don't think Master Farad Muhammad was trying to cover this up. I don't think he was.
Whether he was or wasn't.
But I hear everything that I hear that seems to be covering up. If there is a cover up, let me just say, if there is a cover up, it seems like the words of Elijah Muhammad dresses the story up more than anybody. You don't get that from Master Farad Muhammad. You know, he's writing from California. He said he went to California. He's not. It doesn't appear that he's covering much up. He's maybe not telling the whole story, but he's not covering nothing. But yeah.
I mean, look. I mean, this whole thing about Ford and Farad not being the same person, and that guy's a phony. That is Elijah Muhammad's innovation in the 1960s. And so, I mean, you got to be accountable to the words and actions that come out of you. Indeed. You got to be accountable to it. And whether it was Farad's intention or not his intention, we all live to find out the truth in the end. That's what matters the most, regardless of who says it, and who doesn't say it.
Indeed.
So if in my book, we give all the references, we give, you know, I think hundreds and hundreds of references, footnotes, photographs, letters. You know, it's not my word that you're taking. There's very little of my own word or speculation in my work. It's all footnoted, it's all referenced. And so you have an issue, go to the reference. That reference might, by the way, take you back to Farad or Elijah or John or Bernstein or Louis Farrakhan. You know, I'm relying mainly on Nation of Islam sources in all of my book.
That's the best type of research that you can do.
When I'm not relying on Nation of Islam sources, I'm relying on publicly available newspaper records, ancestry records, you know, documents, things that you can find yourself. There's no secret knowledge. There's no esoteric knowledge. I'm not a spooky person in that way.
What do y'all think about? I got one more question. What do you think about the book by Dr. A.K. Arian, The True Story of W.D. Farad? Anybody familiar with that one?
Carl Evans.
That's
Carl Evans. It's the same person. That's his pseudonym.
Chamberlain, what is it called? Chameleon or something? Chameleon, yeah. What do you think about that?
It's a great book. So I would say that John Andrew Morrow's book, Finding W.D. Farad, corrects a lot of the, Carl Evans is a legend, and he laid a lot of the groundwork for this kind of research. The Messenger and Chameleon are like must-haves, must-read books. Sometimes he makes little typos, mistakes, there's some sloppiness, in other words.
I've seen a few. I've seen a few sloppy things where as though he contradicts himself about identifying them sometimes. It seems like
not providing sources. Sometimes he doesn't provide sources.
He doesn't provide sources a lot of the time. There is sloppiness. There are claims that don't follow through. I would say that Morrow's book corrects most of that. I mean, I would say that this is the main book you want on this subject if you're interested in the historical Master Farad Muhammad, and then followed by this book. And I would say this book is extremely important. This is Anton Beatty's book.
And if you can get this book, this is a great researcher's book. for a lot of stuff that John Muhammad puts out, and you can
Alam
find,
Khan's channel, it's all
and
receipts.
you can find this at alamkhan.com.
Alam Khan
The
Yes, sir.
Alam Khan Productions. What is it? Alamkhanproduction.com.
publications. Like
Publication.
Yes, sir.
if
Yeah.
Alam Khan, we don't know what he looks like, right? Everybody's saying, "Oh, what does he look like?" He looks like a receipt. Okay, he just looks like a giant receipt. That's what he is. That's Alam Khan. Okay, as a person. Okay, he's not a person. He's a receipt. He's a walking
Yes,
receipt.
sir. Let's
And
go.
if there's this book too, by the way, that you guys should check out. The
Yep.
Reformer.
Ernstine, the Reformer, got that.
It's all primary sources.
So I don't promote everybody books, but I do have a good library of the research of Master Fraud. I got it, and the recent one was gifted to me by the one I just showed. So I'm in debt.
Appreciate it, brother.
I'm in debt to Allah right now because that was gifted to me. And
You guys want to subscribe to this channel, to Alam's channel. Alam's got
John
some,
Andrew Morrow's channel.
yeah, Alam's got some documentaries. Like let me just say this, and I don't say this lightly. Alam is the best video editor I've ever seen.
Yeah, bro. You that
My guy. Appreciate it, brother.
Now that AI stuff, man. I'm like, man, bro, how you get caught up with AI so fast?
Bro, I'm just tapped in, man. And
Like, how you get caught up with AI so fast?
man.
Them fezzes are bright red. I'm like, hold on, we the only one.
Yeah.
You better get some burgundy fezzes. Nah, man, you're doing good. You're doing good with that. I gotta make some money so I can have some time to study on that AI because they looking nice over there.
I got you, man.
Listen, family, I'm having a good time. I appreciate y'all. I really, 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 really appreciate y'all for joining me. That's the Moorish World TV citizens. And I definitely appreciate my guests. Family, let's do this with more information on the next show. Anything you want to say in departing, Brother Bilal Muhammad?
Separation.
Let's go.
Indeed. And what about you, Brother Alam?
I would say come along with me with this journey of learning, discovering. I mean, we all wake up and do the same things we all have to do every day, which is survive. What really is all this at the end of the day, you know?
Indeed. Well, I appreciate y'all, and we're gonna do this again real soon. I'll be in contact with my brother Alam, and maybe you send me your email, and then I can maybe give y'all a heads up how we can do this again. Because I know we're gonna have a bunch of questions. We're gonna get a bunch of I know I'm gonna get a bunch of attacks. Looking forward to it. Keep the attacks coming, but let's bring the attacks online and bring some logical reasoning behind your attacks with some receipts to support your opposition.
Bring it.
I appreciate y'all.
Excellent stream. I appreciate it so much, man. That was
man.
Appreciate it, brother.
Hey, bro. I hope that it inspires you to turn your channel or create a stream channel so they can come and get all them receipts that you got.
They're gonna start seeing some titles coming out that are I'm gonna make them mad, man. We're gonna make them mad.
Appreciate
Assalamu alaikum, everybody.
Walaikum salam. Appreciate you. Let me
Peace.
Peace, brother. So, family, I want to thank y'all for joining me and my guests today, because listen, that's what Moorish World TV is all about. Moorish World TV is all about bringing these receipts, family. Listen, I know I'm gonna catch a lot of flack. The first thing that the brothers from the nation gonna say, you got this person on it. Listen, I'm looking for research. That's all I'm looking for. I'm looking for research. I'm looking for those who are qualified to give research. And these two present research in the way that I look for research. I look for research with tangible receipts. That's it. And in fact, in this type of subject matter, I know somebody gonna say, well, why he ain't show his face? Why I'm just looking for something we can verify. That's it. So I can get all the hits, all the attacks. I can get all that. It doesn't matter to me, because at the end of the day, if you are interested in unadulterated truth, especially as it relates to the Nation of Islam, Master Farah Muhammad, this was the show for you. and the future show will be the show for you. But if you are if you are interested in personalities, if you are interested in the complexion of where the information come from, then this may not be the show for you, because somebody might come up with some information that we can verify and receipts that we can verify, and they may just be coming out of Russia somewhere. That's it. It may come out of Russia. Doesn't make a difference to me at this point. Let's look at what the receipts that you got, and let's see if the receipts make sense. And so far, these receipts can't be refuted. I haven't seen a brother from the NOI want to step up yet. So the whole show, not one brother from the NOI stepped up, and I know that they're watching. So, and again, this is not to antagonize the NOI. This is not to antagonize the NOI at all. This is about pure research, and I dedicate my life to pure research as it relates to the Moorish Science Temple of America, anything associated with the Moorish Science Temple of America. And as I said, the Moorish Science Temple of America, from my vantage point, was targeted of all the places in the world. Farad Muhammad came to Detroit, the biggest hub of the Moorish Science Temple of America. And then he went to Chicago. Between the two, they were in a race to be the biggest hubs of the Moorish Science Temple of America. And I believe that it was orchestrated that way for a reason. And now to hear that Master Farad Muhammad was associated with the esoteric, illuminated people, now it really has me waiting for more information to come out as to why he chose that place, Detroit and Chicago, the biggest hubs of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Appreciate y'all, family. Y'all have a good night. Peace. And thanks to the mods. Peace.